Okay. 2/15 and 7/15. Who's first? Caitlin? Did you get this far? Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. So what'd you get for this?
I just added straight across and then got 9/15, and then I simplified it to 3/5.
All right. Sounds great. So add the top, keep the bottom the same. So this one's just kind of reviewing those simple rules that we're going to extend. Divide by 3, top and bottom. Should get 3/5. How far did y'all get? I didn't ask that. Did you get through those 4?
Yes, but I think the last one I'm a little iffy on. So it was like I got done, but I'm not sure if that's the right answer.
All right. All right, so the next one is 3C. 4C minus 5 is what's on bottom. And who else is in there? Carson?
So since the denominators are same, you just add across the top. So I got 3C plus 5/4C minus 5. And I wasn't sure if you could reduce that or not.
Okay, so in order to reduce it, you probably would have factored things out first. And so if we look at 3C plus 5, can we factor that thing?
I don't believe so.
No. And same thing with 4C minus 5, right? So they're already like the first power is C. Those are fully factored already. There's no GCF, I guess is one of the things we might be able to look for. But there's no GCF between 3 and 5 or 4 and 5. So if you don't see any like factors, these are different things. I guess one thing people might try to do is do that. Like maybe factor out, that's not how that factors. Don't do that. Don't. So knowing when to stop sometimes is a good thing to know. What is this? So 3A, questions about this one? Like my coffee's kicking in. I was like sluggish, and now I think I feel a little sporadic. Went from sluggish to sporadic. No in between. 9/8 squared. Uh, 3A minus 7. And we have a subtract 49 over the same thing. Ooh, this one looks like fun. Who's next? Fernanda, did you get this one?
I didn't, but would the denominator still be the same?
So the denominator is 3A minus 7. And what's going to go on top?
9A squared minus 49.
9A squared minus 49. Okay. And so if we look at this, after we add or subtract something, what should we check? Like if we had 9/15, what did we do with that? We didn't keep it 9/15.
Oh, reduce it.
So we want to simplify this thing. So if you look at 9A squared minus 49, this is going back to what, factoring stuff? How do I split this thing apart?
Like find their common denominator?
No. So I'm just looking at the 9A squared minus 49. How do I factor that? What sort of strategy? Just this thing right here.
The AC method?
Anybody else get this?
Yes.
So what strategy do you use to factor that 9A squared minus 49?
Here it's as a squared minus b squared, which is a minus b times a plus.
So So it's a difference of squares.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's given. Can I answer or I will?
Fernando, do you remember how to do difference of squares?
Sorry, I'm just like blanking out on that part.
All right, so we square root it. So the square root of 9a squared is 3a. We square root the 49 and 7. And then the signs are what? One is plus and one is minus. And we have 3a minus 7. Do you see anything that might simplify out here now? We could put this in parentheses if you want.
Do you cross off the 3a minus 7 with the
Uh-huh.
1? Okay.
Yep. And so this leaves me with what?
3a plus 7.
Yep, I'm running out of room, but it's just 3a plus 7. That's over 1, right? If you want to put it over 1, I wouldn't count any points off. Questions about this? All right, so what's the strategy? If we're adding or subtracting, we keep the denominator, we do the operation with the numerators, right? So we have something like 9a squared minus 49 on top. We have to look at what we've done after we've added and subtracted, and we have to factor that thing out, see if there's any common factors. So we factored it out. We saw that there was a common factor of 3a minus 7, and we cleared that thing. It simplifies out, and we have just 3a plus 7 over 1, or just 3a plus 7. Questions about it? Okay. Clear this. Okay, well, next thing is 3m squared. Over 6m minus 30 minus 21m minus 30 over 6m minus 30. Ashley, did you want to do this one?
Yes, I will try.
Okay.
Because yeah, I can tell you why I started it. Let's go from there. The first thing I did was I had put everything on the top, like the 3m squared minus what I distribute that negative. So at the top it'd be like the 3m to the square minus 21m plus 30 over 6m minus 30.
Yep.
And then I will find our factor at the top, right?
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, when we subtract by a fraction, we're subtracting everything in that numerator. So it's sort of like there's like parentheses around these. I know we don't usually put parentheses around the numerator and denominator, but when we're operating these things, right? If I was to divide this in a flat line, I would have to put parentheses around these to indicate I'm doing the numerator operations first, I'm doing the denominator operations first, second, or whatever, and then I'm dividing those two numbers next, right? So when we write things like this, it's sort of like there's like this understood sort of like maybe parentheses or like that's the order of operations, right? So we got to be careful when there's like a subtraction sign out in front because it gets distributed. And then I said a bunch of stuff. So what'd you do with this top here?
Factor it out.
Okay, so what'd you factor out?
The first I brought a 3 out.
Mm-hmm.
And then in parentheses, it'd be m squared minus 7 plus 30, right?
30 divided by 3.
Oh, 10. No, right? Yeah, that'd be 10.
I don't have room for my parentheses, but there we go.
Okay. Then after that, you're supposed to do the AC method, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna make some more room. So what'd you do at the bottom? Did you keep it?
Oh, I kept it the same.
6m.
6m minus the 30, right?
Okay.
That's what I did wrong. Okay, but I got it.
So what did that top factor to? I guess is the next thing, right?
Okay. Oh, hold up. See, that's the part I'm stuck at. I know it, but hold up. That's the part I'm stuck at.
They multiply to what? 10. Add
Uh-huh.
to -7.
Got 1, 2, and 5. But 2.
Mhm.
Right? Oh, see, okay, it's supposed to be negative. Oh, both are supposed to be negative. Okay, that's why I was like, I know it. Okay, then that's 2. Let me do it.
It's the one. You can use a shortcut on this one if you wanted to.
Oh, it'd be m plus, wouldn't it be 2?
It should be m-2
Oh, m minus 2.
Minus.
and -5. Yeah, the shortcut. Remember, if this is like 1 out in front of here now.
Right. The other day when I was trying to do the shortcut, I kept messing up something. So I just told myself I'm gonna stick with the AC method.
Yeah, it's got to be that 1 out in front though. If it's any other number, it doesn't work too well.
Oh, okay. Cause yesterday I was trying to like, oh, that's the shortcut, but I kept messing up yesterday. So that's
Yeah.
why I went back to writing everything out. Don't ask me why, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to like jump to the shortcut because people will try to use it on stuff that they're not supposed to. But yeah, so that should be m squared minus 7, m plus 10 is going to factor to m minus 2, m minus 5. What about that bottom? I think you saw something there. Did you do any factoring of the bottom?
Yes.
So what'd you factor the bottom out to be?
6 times m minus 5.
Did you get that, Ashley?
Nope. But I see why why we had to factor it out, but I didn't do that. I just thought it's supposed to stay that there's 6m minus 30. Okay.
Yeah, GCS, you gotta look for them GCS.
Okay, but after that you'll cross out the m minus 5.
That simplifies.
And then the 3 simplifies to 1. I apologize. And then at the bottom it'll be a 2.
Yep, that's it.
Good.
So your answer would be 1 parenthesis m minus 2.
Mhm.
And then at the bottom would just be 2.
Yep. And you have 1 times m minus 2, you can just write m minus 2 is fine. That's it. Ooh, this one's a long one, huh? Questions about this one? All right, so the strategy is still the same. We are keeping the denominator, the same denominator, the 6m minus 30. We are subtracting 3m squared. We have to subtract the 21. We have to subtract the negative 30. So there's some distribution that happens at first. So don't forget about the distribution we did. And then we got to, I think, this step right here, right? After we did that distribution. And so after we do the subtraction, we still got to look at this thing, see if it's factorable. We're able to factor the top. We're able to factor a GCF of 3, and then we use the AC method to factor the m minus 2, m minus 5. The bottom has a GCF of 6. We can factor out the 6. If we have the same thing over, it sounds like an m minus 5, m minus 5. That simplifies out. Something like 3 over 6. We're looking at just these leading numbers. And we would simplify this just like we would simplify 3, 6 in any other problem without all the other stuff attached. So we're dividing the top and bottom both by 3 to get 1/2. So there's a 1 times m minus 2 on top. That's just m minus 2. There's a 2, and everything else is scratched out. And so there's just a 2 left on the bottom. Questions about this? Okay, I see some head nods. Usually that's a good sign people are understanding something. All right, so what do we have next? I think we have like 5 more problems maybe. I want to go maybe like 2 at a time on these things. These things I think are going to take a little bit more time. Let me do something a little weird. And I want to maybe add, I don't know, m minus 4. Yeah, let's make this a different number so it's not confusing. Let's go m minus 3, m minus 4, m squared minus 16. And if I start out with something like this and I want to add them, we're going a little bit of a different direction in these next 5 problems, right? And so what's the difference with these 5 versus the previous 4 that we had?
They don't have the same denominator.
Yeah, so they don't have the same denominator. So if they don't have the same denominator, let me give you like maybe a quick example right quick. What I want to do is factor them to get a common denominator. So if I factor this thing, I have 3 over m plus 4, m minus 4. This thing have m minus 3 over an m plus 4. So if I'm looking at the denominators on these things, what is my least common denominator going to be?
+4.
M plus 4 and m minus 4.
So they both have an m plus 4, but this one doesn't have an m minus 4. So my least common denominator is the 2 of them put together. I have to count for basically you're accounting for each thing at least once, right? It's got to be there. So if this is missing that, what's the strategy?
You need to multiply the other side by the missing one and put up in the box to be the same one.
Very much like when I get a common denominator with just numbers, I gotta multiply it by the thing that it's missing, right? So I'm multiplying this by an m minus 4 top and bottom to get the same denominator. Okay. So what is this? 3 m plus 4, m minus 4. And I want to add what? M minus 4, m plus 3, m minus 3. So the strategy is?
Same denominator.
Yeah, so this is the same denominator. I probably want to clean this up a little bit. This is what m squared. Back to pen. M squared, what is that? Minus 4m minus 3m minus 7m plus 12, right? And so something like this is going to give me 3 plus whatever the heck this thing is. M squared minus 7m plus 12 plus 3 is what? Plus 15. I probably picked really horrible numbers because I think that top thing is now prime.
Because
I don't think you can factor that 3 and 5.
yeah, because it's not like the same the denominator. Yeah.
And so I think you're pretty safe in saying that's probably not going to factor. And we can't reduce this at all, right? But we should, after we do the addition or subtraction, always check, make sure your fraction final solution is reduced, right? And in order to make sure it's reduced, you have to factor those things. Make sure none of those factors match up. Questions about this, about the strategy? I wanted to warm y'all up with something that wasn't one of your problems. So I think if we do, first one's a little bit easy. Let's do this, try to get those first 3 done. All right, so I'm gonna open the rooms again. Stop recording. Pause. Ooh, didn't hit record. Okay. And so we multiplied top and bottom by some polynomial to get to an LCD. Once we get the LCD, it is just like we were doing in the previous problems, right? We have the same LCD. We keep the common denominator. We add the numerator and denominator. Questions about any of this? It is fairly involved, right? I think these are probably the most involved. It's gonna get. How far back does it go? Does it go back? Oop. I may have missed the next one here, right? Questions about this part? Are we understanding how to get an LCD? I think that's the new thing that they're adding here, right? Okay.
It's not so much of a question. I understand how to get it, but the way that I did it is kind of how we did it in our notes. Would you like for us to write that out like on our paper or like a spreadsheet paper? Because I don't want so much going on my paper.
Like separately, like this, and writing it all out. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, like how to find the LCD.
I mean, are you just doing it all in like one line, just like throwing things in there? If you're just doing it in one line, as long as you're getting to the correct, what do I say, fraction over here, right? As long as you're getting these things correct, your process is probably working. It sounds like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, because in the notes, like okay, how you have the 10x squared 1. I end up breaking that down like 10 is 2 and 5, then the x and the 1 and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like I'm just saying I did it that way, but I know it's a lot. So I'm trying to see like, do you want us to show that on our paper? Because I don't want so much going on with my paper. Like I did it that way, but you kind of did it across.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways you could probably write this out. As long as you're getting to these fractions over here, you're probably doing it correctly. And like, as long as I can see that you're like starting with this, there's like probably a million different ways to show how to do that work, right? And then we can get to like this fraction over here. As long as you're getting to the correct fraction, I think you'll probably be okay. Okay. If I do what? 5 over 3w minus 2, is that the next one?
It's 111. Yes.
Yeah, 111. 111. My lucky number. Landra, did you get this one?
No, I didn't. I was trying to like understand the other problems so I could solve this one.
Okay. Do you think you could help me with it? Gonna leave me a little more room. How would we get a common denominator here? Can you help me with that? Are you?
With wait.
So if we have something like 3w minus 2 and w plus 1, are those things fully factored? I guess is the first question, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, if they're the first degree, there's nothing we're gonna break down any further, right? All right, so they're fully factored. So what factor is this first thing missing? What does this one have? What does this one have that that one doesn't?
Like the 3.
All right, so what does not the eraser.
Hey, hey,
This one have that this one does not. This one has a 3W plus minus 2. This one has a W plus 1. And so for a least common denominator, we need one of everything that's in the denominator, basically. And so this has a W plus 1. What does this not have that that one has?
The W plus 1.
Uh-huh. So that's the thing we need to multiply by over there. What do we need to multiply by over here?
3W minus 2.
Yep. All right. And if I multiply 5 by W plus 1, what does that give me?
5W plus 5.
By W plus 5. And this is over that thing we just wrote, 3W minus 2, W plus 1. And I'm adding that to, what am I getting on the top over here?
6W plus minus 4.
6W minus 4. And on the bottom, I got the thing I just figured out. W plus 1, 3W minus 2. All right. I think we did the work. And I think this thing, ooh, keep hitting the wrong thing. Here we go. I think those two things are alike now, the denominators. So if my denominators are alike, what can I do? What's going to go on the bottom here?
Just one of them.
Yeah. So I know I have them written in different orders, right? But whether I write 3W minus 2 first or W plus 1 first, it shouldn't really matter. It's like if I do 3 times 4 or 4 times 3, I'm still going to get the same thing, right? Was that commutativity? All right, what about the top?
We add the 2 on the top. So it would be 5W plus 5 plus 5W minus 4.
Plus, what was it 6W minus 4? Okay. And then, all right, so what are we getting on top? What can I do there?
Would it be 11W plus 1?
Yep, that's it. And 11W plus 1, can I factor anything out of that? That's probably the next question you should ask yourself. I have 11 and a 1. I don't think I'm factoring anything when there's a 1 there, right? I can't factor anything out of 1. That should be it. There's no GCF between those two things. 11W is already to the first power of W. There's no more factoring that. So is there anything else you can simplify out of this? It's fully factored. I don't see any factors that match. Hopefully that should be the end, right? Questions about this one?
Okay. Never mind. I'm trying to get like how to say my question because I'm still kind of lost. Like, the reason why I didn't do that one was because I didn't know that we supposed to, okay, when we did the denominator, that's what I feel like that's what my group kind of got stuck on. We was looking so much into what can we multiply to get in there instead of just saying, oh, do the W plus 1. You know what I'm saying? Times that. But like that part is still kind of fuzzy to me.
Okay. So like this first part before I started multiplying by this.
Mhm.
All right, so this one, I guess we could do the GCF. So I'm looking at a GCF between 3W minus 2 and a W plus 1. So I have to look at each of these factors like it's its own separate sort of number sort of thing. So like if this was a 2 and this was, I don't know, a 5, how would I find the GCF between 2 and 5?
You can multiply each other.
Yeah, it's got to be each one of those things kind of separately, right? I guess you could combine them to 10. Same sort of way when I look at my GCF here, I have to have sort of like one of each of these things. So if you do the prime factorization, you have to have at least one of each of them to the highest power. I guess if this was a square or something, I would be putting a square here.
Okay, that helped. That part helped a little bit.
So if you're getting all different factors, you're going to need one of each of them, basically. That's why after you do a few of these, you'll be asking yourself, well, what am I missing here, right? So if I look at 3W minus 2, the thing that it's missing, it's got a 3W minus 2. It's missing that W plus 1. And if I do it bottom, got to do it top. Ooh, get out of here, rules. And this one's missing what? The 3W minus the 2. And if I do it to the bottom, I got to do it to the top. Any more questions about this one? Okay. All right, so I want to give you a little bit more time on 117, but I feel like maybe going over like GCFs might help. 3m minus 3, and the other thing is m squared plus 3m minus 4.
Mhm.
And so I've said it like a few times, but if it's not the F word, factored, if it's not factored, do the factoring thing, right? So 3m minus 3, how am I going to factor that?
Times m minus 1.
Yeah, 3 times m minus 1. And this thing, how am I going to factor this thing? It's 3 terms, good old GCF, I think, or not AC method. I'll say the right letters eventually. AC method.
It's my m minus 1 m plus 4.
M minus 1, m plus 4, does that check?
Yes.
Yeah, it's minus 4. Yep, that's it. Okay, so what's in my GCF?
M minus 1. Sorry, I answering you. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I'm going to need what? A 3 there. I'm going to need what else?
For the
M minus 1
Yep, I'm going to need an m minus 1.
and the m minus 4. I mean, plus 4.
What about this one? That one's accounted for, right? And I needed m plus 4.
You know, if you want a teacher just to remove directly your three in the top and the bottom, it's going to be easiest way.
Oh, we can divide that by 3, right? So we should probably simplify the fractions maybe first.
Yes, the beginning, just simplify the first and then start your factoring.
Yeah, so that might be easier.
Then it's going just to be minus m over m minus 1.
So I think I'm going to let y'all do these. Try to get the next 3 done. I'm going to send y'all back to groups for a few minutes. But y'all try to get these next 3 done. I got this one set up this far. I know the GCF. is 3, an m minus 1, and an m plus 4. If you want to factor out the 3, you can factor out the 3 from that first one and simplify it. I think I might leave it there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna open rooms back up. Pause the good old recording, kind of. All right, so 117 Fidel, did you get this one?
I did part of it. I kind of got stuck at the end.
We can work through it. What is this first fraction missing? What should I multiply by that first fraction?
The first fraction. Would it be the m plus 4?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I need an m plus 4, top and bottom. And what is this thing missing over here?
The m plus 1 or m minus 1, right?
It's got it there.
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
It's got an m minus 1 there, right here.
Oh.
It's got that one and that one. That one. Right.
Right.
What's the thing I don't have underlined here?
The 3.
Yeah, just the 3. Okay. So my LCD is this 3 m minus 1 and m plus 4. All right, so what's my numerator on this first one?
It's the 5m times 3, right?
It's should be this thing that I'm doing right in here. Should be minus 3m times that m plus 4.
Oh, okay. So it'd be negative 3m squared.
Yeah, so negative 3m squared. That's it. And then what's the next thing?
Then 9.
3 and 4 make what?
Oh, 12. My bad.
12, and it should have
And then
an m on there. Yep.
and then it'd be 15m.
Yep, that's it. All right. Give you a second to look at this. The denominator is still the same thing. We're not doing anything to the denominator. We're distributing multiplying terms throughout the numerator, doing the distribution that we need to do in the numerator, because now the next step is we're going to actually do the operation between the two fractions. So if we do the operation between the two fractions, I should have my LCD in the bottom. That's it. I called it a GCF a while ago. I don't know why I had GCF spelled out on here. It should be LCD or LCM, least common multiple, or least common denominator. But I have what? Minus 3m squared. And what else goes up there?
The minus 12m plus 15m.
So minus 12 plus 15 is going to give me what? Plus
3.
3m.
Mhm.
Okay. And there might be like one more, maybe 2 more steps.
Mhm.
I got a 3, I got an m minus 1, I got an m plus 4 on bottom. What about that top? So I've done the addition subtraction. Now I got to look at my fraction. So what can I do with that top?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I want to factor it somehow. It's not any of like the crazy factoring methods. The first thing you look for when you're factoring is a GCF. Is there anything in common I can take out of these things?
Would it be the 3?
Yeah, you can take out a 3. In between m squared and m, I can take out what?
The M.
An m. So I can take out a 3m. I should probably also really take out a negative because it leads with a negative.
Mhm.
And if I take out that negative 3m, I think that's going to give me what, m in a.
Would it be -1?
Yeah, that's it. And now do you see anything? Can I simplify this?
You could get rid of the M -1.
Yep. And so what's left on top? I think I just see a -3m, right? That m -1's crossed out. And what's on bottom? So when you cross things out, be careful. I know you'll get like carried away. Think you're some sort of slasher out there or something.
Just the 3 and the M+4.
Yep, the 3 and the m+4. Yep, that's it. Questions about this one?
It's a question, but it's not so much on this one. Is there cahoots for this? Because it's like I understand it, but I feel like the more I practice is the more, I could kind of get the better hang of it.
So if you'd have to search, I wouldn't know off the top of my head if there is one or not.
Okay.
The other thing I would try is Khan Academy. I don't know if you tried Khan Academy.
Okay, I will look into it. I never heard
If it's
You can look at quizzes too. Quizzes is another good option. That's the site that I sent y'all.
Yeah, I can post this up in the chat right quick. Everyone, paste it here. Khan Academy is a really good one. It like goes through pretty much. I think they go through probably every topic that we go through and more. But yeah, they got good algebra resources at Khan.
Quizzes is good too. They both are good.
Yeah. Are we understanding how to find least common multiples of polynomials? That's one of the crazy things, right? That's what we started out with, was finding the LCM LCD. Once we find the LCM LCD, we multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same thing to get to there. We find the common denominator, we do the addition subtraction, we simplify the final resulting fraction. All right, questions about that? We're moving on to the next one. So this is what, 6 over m plus 6. And we have -12 m over m squared minus 36. Okay. So I look at these things. And if my denominator is not factored already, I might want to factor the denominator. So who's next? Ganya? Did you get this one?
Yes, sir.
All right. So m squared minus
Which number, please?
125.
Yes.
We have 6 over m plus
Teacher?
6. Yeah. Oh, y'all froze for a second. We have 6 over m plus
What number?
6.
She wants to know what
125.
number you got. Okay.
125.
You said 125? Okay.
Yeah, my internet connection's getting wonky. Sorry.
No problem. Yes, here I just got like, I put my 6 as GCF, and it's going to be 6 over 6, 6 times m plus 1 for the one side. Oh my gosh, no. I
So
lost.
we have 125 is 6 over m plus 6 minus
125. I am talking to you. 120. Okay, 125. Yes. Here my I want to put my denominator. Give me just 1 sec. Okay, for the one side, I have 6 over m plus 6 minus 12m over m squared minus 36 is like m minus 6, m plus 6.
This isn't factored already. That's what I was getting at. Yep, that's it. M minus 6, m plus 6 is what m squared minus 36 difference of squares.
Yes.
So I know we said it before. I'm going to say it again. Like these factoring strategies are really important in this class, right? They come up and they come up again.
Mhm.
And so what's my LCD here that I'm going for?
Our LCD is m minus 6, m plus 6. Because I need to multiply the one side by m plus 6
Okay.
to get the same denominator.
And so my LCD is this thing, this m minus 6, m plus 6 that accounts for both the factors that are there.
Mhm. Then
And
the
for this
top
one,
is going to be, sorry, the top is going to be 6m minus 6
so I got to
12m.
yeah, I got to multiply this thing by m minus 6, right?
Mhm.
Get both of those factors there. This thing, what do I need to multiply this thing by? The second one?
Yes, by the second one, by the m plus 6. Yes.
So the second denominator, right?
I have, if no, I don't want to multiply the second side because I have
Already
the
there.
denominator. Yes, everything is there.
Okay, I was making sure everyone knows we're already there with the second denominator. It's already got an m minus 6. It's already got an m plus 6. It's got one of each factor in there already. Ooh, excuse me. We don't need to multiply that by anything.
Now I want to just put everything together.
Yeah, so we're putting it together. This is m plus 6, m minus 6. And when I multiply the top of that first fraction, what do I get?
It's 6m minus 36 minus 12.
Minus
Minus 12.
Yep.
Then is going to be a minus 6m minus 36.
Ooh, okay, just a second. 6m minus 36 is on top of this first one. I'm multiplying things together.
Mm-hmm.
And I get minus 12 over the same thing, m plus 6, m minus 6. That didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I have a common denominator. I have something like m plus 6 and minus 6. And now I can do the operation. And so that's going to give me what?
Minus 6 times m plus 6 over. Now you want to cross the m plus 6. To
So
get
it's
minus 6 over minus 6. The results.
yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and write it out on top. So 12m. So we're doing the 6m minus the 36 minus the 12.
Is minus 6m minus 36. You get your results as minus 6m minus 36 because you have 6m minus 12m.
Yep. So we have 6m minus 12m is going to give us minus 6m minus 36.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that this is fully reduced. How do I do that?
Put your minus 6 as a GCF. And then it's going to be minus 6 times m plus 6.
Minus 6 times, I can pull out a GCF of minus 6, and that's going to give me an m
Plus 6.
plus 6. So both of those signs should change.
Yes.
This is an m plus 6 and an m minus 6.
It's going to stay there. Just now you across your m plus 6.
We can cross out the m plus 6, and now we're just cleaning things up and writing the things that we haven't slashed out. What is this? Minus 6 is on top.
It's minus 6 over m minus 6.
M minus 6. Can we simplify anything else out of there?
Never, no.
No. Those are different things. So I think the common thing that people might try to do that's a mistake is they might try to simplify out maybe just those 6s, right? But we'd have to be able to mark it out of like every term that's there. We can't just separate 2 terms sort of like that. That's not a good strategy. Don't do that. Should be something like -6 over m minus 6. Questions about this one? We got 1 minute left. I was going to show you maybe how to set up the next one. So if we have something like that next one, 2x plus 7 over 10x minus 1, and I'm going to add 3. That's not a fraction, but if I want to make it a fraction, I can put it over what?
1.
1. And now if I'm looking at my LCD, what's my LCD here?
10x minus 1.
Yep. And so if I want to multiply things to get to my LCD, that first one's already there. What am I multiplying this one by?
10x minus 1.
Yep.
Yes, the next one.
And I'm going to set it up for you. And I think that's probably as far as we're going to get. We're at the end of class right now. But yeah, it's pretty much the same strategy from there on out.
Just across.
Just if they give you a whole number, I guess it's just they're giving you like that whole number. I don't feel like this is more complicated than this. I feel like those previous two that we did were more complicated than this, but maybe I'm wrong. This is just kind of remembering what if they give me a whole number? What do I do with that? Any questions about this? I'm gonna hit stop on the record then. We'll let y'all go if y'all want.